I talked with Damian Young, shout to Demiza. He had said that you don't get enough credit for trying to be a peacemaker during the East Coast, West Coast drama that was happening. He mentioned a show at the Palace. It was like a Power 106 show. Mm-hmm. And I guess Biggie pulled up. Mm-hmm. You guys met backstage. Mm-hmm. Biggie goes on stage, I think he did Crush on You or something like that. And he said that you walked out behind him like while he was on stage, like while he was performing and did your Snoop dance and shit. And he was just like, that was never something that you would kind of like subscribe to. And I think that's obviously, well regarded that we kind of know that. But like, was that like something that, just the whole time that was happening? Obviously there's the Source Awards thing. But was that something that never just sat right with you in terms of just that whole narrative?
No, it didn't, because the East Coast was always the pinnacle of rap. They was always the gods. They was the ones who did it before anybody.
I mean, you paid homage to Slick Rick on Dogg.
Come on, man. They was the ones who showed us how to do it.
Yeah.
So we would never want to get into it with the inventors or the creators, but certain situations made us feel a certain way because we would never get our songs played on radio with certain things that would be biased towards us, and it was built up frustration. And then you got, things that's happening in the industry with artists being shot at and being shot, and you know what I'm saying? So it's like it built up a hostility that was out of control, and I was a part of it. New
York video was fucking.
But that was after them niggas shot at us. We went out there to have them be in the video. They wouldn't let us to the radio station. Then they bust on us, and we didn't say nothing.
They wouldn't let you guys in Hot 97?
We came up to Hot 97 so we can say, "Hey, New York, we here to shoot a video." You know what I'm saying? Dog Pound, pull up, come show us some love. We're gonna be at Times Square. They wouldn't let us on. Then the word gets out, Dogg Pound, Snoop Dogg, and Tupac shooting a video in Red Hook, Brooklyn, and we had to exit. So, but we kept it low. We didn't say nothing. We left it alone. And that was sort of kind of like why Tupac had like animosity towards me, because he knew that happened to me, and he suspected that happened to him by the same circle, and I was still willing to forgive.
Right. You were still willing to be the bigger man.
When he was locked up, I was the gangster. So when he gets out, he expected me to stay the gangster. When you watch gangster movies, it's always two gangsters, right? And they riding it all the way out. Then one of them, like, man, I want to.
It's like Nas in Belly. Nas is like, I want to go to Africa, and Tommy Buns is like, fuck that.
But that's life. That's just how it is. It's like all of my relationships have been like that. Even with me and Warren G. When we started off, we was tighter than the glove musically. And then it had to take a point to where he had to separate and do his own shit to create who the fuck Warren G is. Yeah. Because he would have just been up under us and being Dre's little brother and this. Now motherfuckers know that's Warren G, the creator of G-Funk, the regulator. He produced this, he did that. But
saved Def Jam as a West Coast artist.
Right, but you don't know the struggle of what it was before he got to that point.
Right.
It wasn't just, all right, Warren G, go do your own thing. It was maybe his arguments. When you see my biopic, you'll see it. I ain't gonna give you too much.
Yeah. Now he explained a little bit, like he was kind of explaining like things got a little weird because he was like kind of the only guy who wasn't with Death Row and like kind of went and did his own thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's the one that brought the main piece to Death Row.
Which is true. Facts.
You bring the engine and you don't get to get in the car.
That's craziness. That's interesting. Yo, talk to me about you obviously getting with Pharrell, kind of carved out another era of your career. Pay the Cost to Be the Boss, Rhythm and Gangsta. These were albums that I feel like are kind of like up there with any of your bodies of work. Also, shout out to the Blue Carbon Treatment. That's one of my favorites. And Last Meal, too.
That is my favorite.
The Blue Carbon Treatment's so good.
That shit's so hard.
Oh, my God.
That's my shit.
But you like being locked in with Dre in a way that you have, the level you have. You've also worked with guys like DJ Premier throughout your career. Like you've worked with the greatest of all time, Timbaland, etc. But like catching like that vibe with Pharrell, where you guys are able to like really kind of ride a wave and like have multiple. I mean, Drop It Like It's Hot is like, as big a record that you have. You know what I mean? Like, how cool was that to kind of like get in a group? Because a lot of people can get in with producers and like, yeah, Pharrell made the album, we got a single, but you guys got into like a real. I mean, the Bush album was dope, slept on too.
You know what people don't know about Pharrell? This is what I really love about Cuz. when he worked with me, when we was doing the first couple of things that we did, all he wanted to do was be around my gangster homies. As R&B as he is and as melodic as he is, he was so infatuated with like, Snoop, bring your homies up here, cuz. Have your homies up here, cuz. He used to say it just like that. Yeah, he's like, that's how he talked to me. Bring your homies up here, cuz. And all my homies, he's like, I want the worst of your homies, the one that steals, the one that'll get in a fight, the one. I need
he's
them.
Like, I want these studio sessions to be a real liability.
I want niggas up here in so many words. So I would bring all the niggas up there, and he would get all, like, to me, he did what Dre did with Doggy Style. He had to learn me, but he had to learn my elements. And you can't just do that sitting in the studio with me. You got to see me around my people. You got to see how I interact with my people. You got to get the vibe of us. And when we made those records, he even allowed people like L.T. Hutton to produce tracks. He allowed Jelly Roll and other people to present because he knew that they was a part of my team. So it wasn't like it was a produced by Pharrell top to bottom.
Right.
He had the majority of it, but he allowed, hey man, your homeboy over there, bring him in there. Don't he do beats? Let's see what he got. Like he was that type of, collaborator with me, to where it was like we had fun together, and he was interesting because he wanted to tap in to this gangster shit. Then when we was into it with Suge Knight, that's when he was trying to like pull up. He was like, hold on, wait a minute. Y'all really into it with the nigga? I said, nigga, don't trip, nigga, stay down with this crib shit, nigga. We got this nigga. And then once we handled cuz, he was able to see all of that, to see how the situation resolved, not with violence, but with just standing up and being a man and putting your foot down.
And then like that Bush album y'all did, I don't know, that shit does not get talked about. That was
overseas, they love that motherfucker.
That was a great fucking album.
Big hit overseas.
Yeah. And it was, I think what I liked
visuals?
I bought the CD, and I think the CD reminded me like the old No Limit cases, because it was like a solid colored case.
Did you see the videos to that album?
Yeah, for sure.
The Stevie Wonder one was amazing. The one with Charlie Wilson, like his thought process. To me, that when I'm not here on this earth anymore, is when that record is going to be thoroughly appreciated.
Yeah.
Because it's so dynamic and it's so futuristic that it was so ahead of its time. People were so used to hearing me and him do slappers and bangers, but we went to a whole nother region with that.
I want to talk about, like, I just watched your Cam interview, and I know you touched a lot on your No Limit era. I remember the anticipation, because I was a big Master P fan. Like, Ghetto Dope's my shit.
That was my shit too.
Oh
my homeboy Badass, rest in peace, pulled up on me in a Cadillac, and he was like, Doggy Dog, you gotta hear this shit. And he put the cassette in and Ghetto Dope, and I fell in love with them No Limit niggas.
So fire.